of all, I want to say hello to the government if you're listening. Of course they are.
I kind of want to let people know what's going on in Eugene, Oregon for all the Portland news that we get. So there's this bar here called Old Nick's in Eugene, and it's a leftist bar. And I think this happened last year. Yeah, last year on October 23rd, they had a drag event for an all-age drag show. And they brought on this 11-year-old performer to come along called Venellope Craving. She trained underneath her drag mother named Always Craving, who months prior was arrested on 12 counts of child pornography.
Oh my God.
And this child went into the care of another drag mother who was a friend of this person, and they set up the show. So Andy No, who's the white supremacist Asian reporter we have up here, basically put a word out, and there was a counter. Antifa put out a statement here saying, time to gather, bash the fash, all that shit. And it was a nightmare. I didn't wind up going. I had a wedding that day. But just watching the feeds from it, they brought in the kid. The way the speakers were talking in front of the kid, they'd be on the microphone being like, those people out there want to hurt her, and we're here to protect her and to let her perform and have a good time. And this kid's just hearing like, oh, these people are out here want to hurt me. And meanwhile, you had a bunch of conservatives coming out and essentially being like, yeah, what the hell is wrong with this? And then, of course, Antifa and the left came out. There was a big banner that about 20 trans kids were holding, and it said, don't like trans kids, kill yourself. As if Venellope Craving, the child in question, was trans and not a drag queen. So you had this complete conflation of issues going on. I think they wound up getting in an airsoft and paintball war by the end of it and beating the shit out of each other. Smoke grenades. They had a woman, some queer activists came painted in blue paint like a Smurf in this red bowl cut hairdo and sunglasses, and was going around telling off all the fascists and everything. And the whole display was just completely abysmal.
Yeah, I don't know how these people can justify a child. You said it was in a bar, right?
Yeah,
Child in a bar performing drag. And drag shows, there's a reason why drag shows are 21 and up. They're in bars. I remember when I was 18, I was thinking like I always wanted to go to a drag show. They seem fun. But then I always wondered, I was just like, why are they censored? Like, why can't I see one at 18? And then I go on YouTube and I look at videos, and then I'm like, oh,
that makes sense.
That's why. And you made the point about Venellope. Venellope is a boy that's just in drag, but how much you want to bet that kid is that kid's already on a path of medicalization? I feel like I don't know how this community can actually justify that, that's protecting a child. Looking at the TikTok comments, half of the people that are praising this kid, I'm sure, thinks that this is a good thing. Everybody is misguided. Everybody is so brainwashed and normalized to this, but there are actual predators getting off on this. And that's what these people aren't realizing. And I used to be one of those people a few years back when I was in high school. I would post the little infographics on Instagram saying drag queens aren't going to hurt your kids, but I didn't know what I was saying. It from my point of view, it was just like, wow, these drag queens are just gay men, they want to protect these kids. But then now but then you see the videos, you hear the stories, and then it's just like, oh, maybe we shouldn't let children around these people like that. It's disgusting that these people are using their identity in the LGBT community as a way to shield them. The LGBT community has faced challenges related to the infiltration of political ideologies, personal agendas, and groomers. can you share your thoughts on whether or not the movement has been hijacked and how this may have affected its original goals and values within the LGBT community?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that the LGBT community is being hijacked. You know, you obviously can't look at every single gay, lesbian, trans, bisexual person and be like, you're hijacked, you know. But when it comes down to these organizations and who they let in and the people that they decide ultimately not to vet, you know, we're talking about the drag shows earlier with children. The big reason that a lot of that happens is the bars are inviting people in to set up their shows, and there's essentially no background check. Half these people in these instances have felonies. So kind of the same with these activist groups where there's no need to vet someone in order to let them elevate their voice like that. You have a lot of pedophiles coming into the equation. You have a lot of this groomer behavior, not in the sense of indoctrinating them with political ideology, but going into places, particularly with kids, to where they feel safe, everything's colorful, no one's batting an eye at you, and you can just pump their minds filled with whatever.
People who don't understand what we're doing, I hope this doesn't sound too crass, close your mouth, open your eyes, open your ears, and see what's actually happening here before you react.